Hey guys, it's Michael from eKids, and it's December the 7th. Here we go. December the 7th, and we're going to read another story for our Advent blocks. See, we've had so far Adam and Eve, Noah, Abraham, Hagar, Jacob, Rachel, and Leah, the coat of many colors, and now, what's this? Well, you know what? We're going to find out. And today I have a guest reader, someone who will help you learn all these wonderful things. Of course, his name is Noah Miller. So he's going to read it for you. So come on, Noah.
So, the book is called Free at Last. So, Abraham had a son named Isaac, and Isaac had a son named Jacob, and Jacob had a son named Joseph, who saved God's people from famine by bringing them to Egypt. When famine was over, Joseph and his brother didn't follow God out of Egypt. Neither did their children, or their children's children, or their children's children's children. And even though God's family was no bigger than ever, they were about to be in trouble because a new king began to rule in Egypt. This king was very mean to God's people. He made them slaves. He made them his slaves. And all day long, they worked, and worked. They didn't get a snack breaks or time to play or anything. God's people felt alone and crushed. So they cried out to God, "Where are you? We need you." God heard their cries. God saw their trouble, and God's heart was breaking over all of it, especially how God's people felt all alone. He would find a way to begin with them again. God picked a man named Moses to rescue his people. Moses knew all about their slavery, but he had tried to rescue God's people once before, and it hadn't worked, so he had given up. Now he was out in the wilderness watching sheep instead, until one day he walked by a bush, not an old bush, mind you, but a bush that was on fire and didn't burn up. When Moses got closer, God started talking to him. "I know my people are suffering and alone," he said. "I hear their cries. I see their chains. Their slavery ends now." Moses thought that was good news, but he wasn't sure what he had to do with it. Then God said, "Moses, you're going to be the one to tell Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, you're going to say, 'Let my people go.'" Moses was scared. Pharaoh could hurt them, even kill them. God knew Moses was scared, so he gave him an important promise. "I'll be with you the whole time." So Moses told Pharaoh everything God had said. Pharaoh didn't want to let God's people go at first. But then God started sending Pharaoh's horrible plagues. God turned the Nile River into blood. But Pharaoh didn't listen. So God sent more plagues. He made frogs cover the land. After that, he sent gnats, what are bugs, to cover the frogs. And after that, sickness and horrible boils and huge hailstones, and a storm of locusts, then a terrible darkness all day long. And still Pharaoh didn't listen. God used Moses to warn Pharaoh about the plague. Let God's people go, or the firstborn son in every family will die.
Oh no.
God also used Moses to warn God's people. Listen closely. Every family needs to take a lamb, kill it, and put the blood on your doorposts. That way, when God visits tonight, He will see the blood and pass over your house. That doesn't sound fun. Sure enough, that night, many people died, including Pharaoh's own son. Finally, Pharaoh told God's people, "You aren't my slaves anymore. Go!" God's people were free at last. For years to come, even when it was hard, even when they wandered in the wilderness, even when they weren't sure what was going to happen next. They remembered how God saved them from their slavery in Egypt. But as the years went on and on, people stopped remembering that. Plenty of reasons to remember, but they thought about other things instead. They thought about how strong they were now and how strong they don't want to be in the wilderness anymore. They even started to miss Egypt. It led them back to the same old problem. When they forgot their God, He seemed far away. So Moses and God's people began to hope and pray. God, will you come back to stay?
Fantastic. Yeah,
and that's all.
It's pretty good. High five, Noah. That was good stuff. That was the, if you guys didn't know, that was the longest one so far. And Noah read it all. That was awesome, dude. Proud of you. But yeah, you know what? And I think Noah did such a good job reading. I think I'll leave it at that. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And I will see you tomorrow. For now.